everyone. I pray that you know the Father today. I open with that often because the Father has such richness for us, such grace for us, such love and peace for us. We are in the afterglow of Easter, if you will. And the idea there is still this, that God has given his Son for us, that we may know and follow. My desire for everyone is that we know the height, the width, the depth of the love that the Father has for us, even its intensity, because it is there that we understand and know who and whose and what we are as the children, as the people. It's He who speaks into to help us understand and know. And so again, I pray today that you bless and understand the presence and joy of the Father himself, who has given us the precious gift of his Son, Jesus. We've been looking at 5 parts to surrendering and hearing God. Jeremiah gives us this, particularly after saying in chapter 3 that it is good for us to know the Father as we're young. You know, there are many men and women who don't come to know the Father until they're old. That's okay. The fact is that they come to know the Father. These principles still apply because what they are ways for us to help us to know the Father. You know, the first one was to sit alone, be still. The second one was to be silent. I can hear. Get away with all the noise, the cacophony of our lives. All those things that draw us away from the Father. Being alone, silence helps us to draw near to the Father. The next one is found in verse 29. He says this, let him put his mouth in the dust. Perhaps there is hope. Now that's a curious thing to say here. Let him put his mouth in the dust. Perhaps there's hope. Well, there's a lot going on in this verse because remember, everything about this chapter and the book of Lamentations is about hope. What is the Father's doing? How does the Father lead us? How does the Father bless us? It's all about hope. Let him put his mouth in the dust. Well, what's he saying? He's talking to us about the whole idea of confession and humility. Now, you remember in the culture, back then, what they would do is when they're in sorrow, when they're trying to confess humility, they throw dust in the air and cover themselves with sackcloth and ashes. Humility, confession. Modern day Christians don't like those words. First say we don't. Well, confession is really a hard word for us. It means we've got to confess, say what we've done. But you know what confession really is. It's soon as it is the idea of lego, saying the same thing as. Yes, I confess. I do that. Yes, I confess I was. Yes, I confess. My goodness. We struggle with that because we hate to say we're sorry. Because our lives revolve around one person, typically, and that one person is ourselves, as opposed to revolve around the Father and what is the Father is doing and wants to do for us. The next part of this is humility. Oh, we struggle there. Why? We've been taught, particularly as Western Christians, that we have to assert our self-esteem. Martin Luther King Jr., Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had a wonderful message years ago called the Drum Major Instinct. Drum major, some of you may know, is a person who walks in front of the band and all the attention's on him, and he's directing the band as he parades and puts his baton up and down and all these types of things. Ideally, that is not humility. I'm not speaking against being a drum major. But I'm saying in our lives, we are the drum major. Everything revolves around us. Who we are, what we do, our feelings, our cares, all that stuff. Why? Because it's about us. But when we become Christians, it's an issue of humility. When we put our mouth in the glass, I'm confessing. I am humbling myself before you, Father, that Lord, I will free. Lord, I am confessing it, that Lord, I may help me understand and know what I've done and ask you. I humbly come before you. I give myself to you to myself. Confessing is good for the soul. Put it to the test. If we confess our sins, He's faithful and just to forgive us. There's hope. When I humble myself before the Father, I let go of my pride. What does James say? He says, the Father is opposed to the proud, but he gives grace to the humble. It's a difference. Pride is about me. Humility is about the Father. Pride is my way, my thoughts, or else. Humility is, Father, I need you to lead. Humility is what I give you myself, so that you may guide me. Humility helps us to have hope, because we know that in the middle of the things that are going on in our life, Father is in charge. We give ourselves to Him because we walk humbly with Him. My God is saying, what does God require of you? To walk humbly. I walk in confession. I walk in because I'm sorry. Rivers of living water. It is the Father's goodness. We humble ourselves. We come in and we confess. We find the soup. We walk from this walk from Father, bless your patience. And it is you who should really be the best.